Hello to everyone watching and listening, and welcome to the second episode of the BME Podcast. Today we have a very exciting case at hand, the Aortyx startup, and we will have their own co-founders, PhDs Noemí Balà and Jordi Martorell, explaining from their own first sight their project, their opinions about entrepreneurship, and their experiences. Apart from our usual co-hosts, to my left, Marc Torres.
Hi, Gonzalo. Feels good to be back and make a new episode.
Yeah, it was awaited. And myself, Gonzalo Plaza. We also are extremely lucky to have today with us our colleague and friend, Adriana Royuela. How are you doing?
Hi, Gonzalo. Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here and for this new episode.
We're so happy to have you here. So, Marc, why not start introducing our guests to the audience?
Sure, Gonzalo. Today it's an exciting episode for me, and it's a complete honor for me to present Dr. Jordi Martorell. Jordi obtained his degrees in engineering and chemistry in 2008 in University Ramon Llull, and after that he did his PhD that finished in the same university in 2013. And after 10 years of seeking balance between advancing basic science, understanding cardiovascular pathogenesis, and developing different solutions for the industry between the IQS and the MIT, he co-founded Aortyx in 2018, which is now his CEO, and where they develop commercialize different solutions and patents that are important for the industry.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn. I'm really pleased to introduce Dr. Noemí Balà. She obtained her degree in chemistry at the University of Barcelona in 2015, a master degree in pharmaceutical chemistry and a PhD in chemical engineering, both at the University of Ramon Llull in 2017 and 2022. She also, during her master degree, did a student visitor program at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where she developed a medical device to treat aortic dissection. And finally, in 2018, she co-founded Aortyx. So, as just mentioned, both of our guests, Noemí and Jordi, co-founded Aortyx in 2018, a spin-off of IQS and Hospital Clínic of Barcelona. Is a pioneer company focus on developing medical devices to treat vascular repair. And in the actuality, they have an investment of around 7 million euros, from which 300,000 euros become from the last 2022 Marathon of TV3. So after this brief introduction, we would like you to explain to us and to the audience what your solution is about and how did the project start.
Do you want to start with the solution and I'll start with how it started?
Okay, so the solution that we have developed is basically a patch that adheres against the aortic wall by using an adhesive. And the good thing about the patch is that it has the same mechanical properties as healthy arteries. So basically it accompanies the aortic movements by its microstructure. This microstructure also helps cells to colonize the patch and migrate through it. So basically in animals we have tested, and after 1 month it's completely colonized by cells, so it's slowly integrated in the human body. So we started with the patch, then we developed the adhesive, and at the same time we realized that we need to develop a device to carry the patch from outside the body to inside the body, to the affected part. So we designed the deployer that carries the patch and then a catheter that navigates it inside the artery.
And it all started, as we were saying before, I had my laboratory in a vascular engineering, and what we realized, it was via visiting physicians, surgeons, physicians, and discovering. You need to discover what happens in the hospital. We realized that aortic dissection was clearly a very very poorly treated disease. So we needed to change the paradigm of how it was treated today. So we wanted to give a new opportunity to aortic dissection patients. And from the background that I had in fluid dynamics and plus biomaterials plus collaborations, we came up with the patch and the whole delivery system as a solution.
For our audience to understand, aortic dissection is a pathology where any part of the aorta, but specifically the thoracic part that you are treating, has basically a hole, and it starts growing and has like a lumen or an extra lumen for which blood flow can pass and actually can lead to aortic breaking and the death of the patient, basically.
You explained it quite well, no? The idea is that the lamina intima, so the first layer and the first few layers of the wall separate from the aorta. So as we have this separation, blood flow navigates to this what's called false lumen. So it inflates the artery, leading again to possible rupture, but also to a number of ischemias, downstream the system that can lead to malperfusion in critical organs like the kidneys, like in the bowels. There's also spinal cord ischemia. So there's a number of pathologies, that associated to the dissection afterwards.
It was a big clinical need. Let's say
it is a huge unmet clinical need.
Okay, so there was an opportunity.
It's maybe a silly question, but why does this rupture of the lumen happen?
It's actually, it is not perfectly described today. Okay. There's a lot of things happening. Basically, what happens is that the elastin fibers lose their ability to absorb the pulsatile energy. These elastin fibers may break because you have a connective tissue disease like Marfan's or something else, but also it's extremely correlated to hypertension, to smoking. So in the end, a lot of behavioral risk factors. So, but it's a loss of mechanical properties of the wall.
Yeah, and basically it happens where the blood flow crashes at the first time. No, so if you imagine the aorta, that is kind of a candy, from Christmas candy. No, so it first crashes here and then here. So these are the main points in the thoracic aorta.
In the first point, it will crash harder.
Exactly.
And then in second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's why 2/3 of dissections happen in the ascending aorta and 1/3 in the descending aorta.
Okay. You talked about a paradigm shift. That means there was an already existing paradigm. What were the main problems with the current solutions that were existing? I think they are stents, pharmacological, and there might be another one. I don't exactly remember, but...
You want me to explain it? Okay, so basically there are three solutions. So the first one is they treat it with drugs, so to reduce the tension inside the aorta. This is the first one. Then open repair, which implies high risk because you need to open the chest of the patient and replace the affected part.
Is it effective?
Is effective and definitive because you change that part. Eventually, there are some things that can happen after the graft, but that part is replaced. The problem is that but a lot of patients die in the surgery, or they cannot undergo the surgery because of the high risk of dying. And the last treatment is the endovascular treatment, as you said. Normally they use stented grafts, so it's a stent, bare metal stent recovered with a graft. So they use this tube inside the aorta, and the problem with this tube is that even though that it's less invasive than open repair, the problem is that they have very different mechanical properties compared to the artery. So you kind of solve the problem in this part, but since you are incorporating something that is very different from the native tissue inside the artery, it causes problems before and after that.
So completely
basically
understand.
This is...
Completely understand. So what you're trying to do is to close this hole by delivering a patch that actually adapts to the membrane of the aorta. Okay, completely understood. Thanks for that.
And that it resorbs over time.
Oh, that's great.
So instead of staying there forever, as both of the solutions stay there forever, our patch, it will be absorbed slowly inside the body.
Okay.
And since cells are growing on top, in the end, we expect not to have anything remaining there.
So it's not cellularized, but it promotes the cellularization of the...
And this reabsorption happens because of the adhesion of cells, or happens independently?
It happens because the material of the patch is bioabsorbable.
Okay.
I mean, it's biodegradable.
Yeah.
And promotes the proliferation of the cells, I guess.
So
Not
what
really.
promotes the
regeneration, maybe.
the regeneration or the colonization of the cells is the
Okay.
microstructure. So the patch has two different layers, and the top layer, which is the one facing the bloodstream, it has the fibers aligned with the flow, so it promotes cells to start jumping or like climbing.
It's like a scaffold, maybe.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it promotes this colonization by this having these fibers aligned.
Perfect. Okay, so from more a company point of view, it seems to us that the solution is very innovative. Now, you have to demonstrate that to the patent agency so you can get funds from somebody. How did you, first of all, what processes did you actually go for a patent? Which ones have you patented already? And how important is having this patent so your project can advance? And because maybe some of the audience is not familiarized with this process, I mean, those are 3 questions, but how many, how, and the importance?
So let's start with the last one. It's very important. No, it's critical because otherwise you just develop something that will cost a significant amount of money, but then they just copy you. Mm-hmm. And they can sell whatever you did, they reverse engineer, and they can sell it much cheaper for much cheaper cost of development and than you have had.
You mean if a big company sees
anyone, a big company or a small company, whatever, okay. Because the cost of the development is the mistakes you make along the way to get there. No, if you have one product that works, bringing it up, that's not so complicated, not so expensive.
So one question, maybe to avoid problems between colleagues in the company, do you have to sign some contract saying that you won't say anything outside the laboratory?
Yeah, obviously, everyone has a confidential within their regular work contracts. They have confidentiality agreements. And they have also non-compete. No, so they cannot go to another vascular company after
nice.
if they leave the company
for a few years.
Not
for
forever.
the whole life. I mean,
well, the patent is not forever either. So
exactly.
but not for life of the patent. Huh? But also the patent. It's important for the audience that in the patent you tell how you do things, and you explain how you do things. In theory, then you put a lot of things that could happen, and actually one of these 25 things that could happen is the one that happens. No, but you tell what you're doing, and the process when you patent is also a critical question, because you need to patent before you publish anything, and that if you come from a scientific background, you need to be very clear about that. But also, for example, our patent. Our patch, we patented maybe a little too early. We had to. But
why do you say that? Why a little too early?
Because over the development, there are limits that we had to put in the patent that we prefer maybe not having. No?
Okay.
These are things
so
that
you were conservative,
I think that
let's
we
say.
patented in 2017 or
18. The first patent application was 2018.
Right when you started the company, or even before that?
Before.
6 months before.
And the problem is that we have not tested that in animals, or we have not proven.
So you claim things that you have to claim that you have to prove in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the end, we need to adjust many manufacturing conditions to have the patch that we defined at the beginning that in the end we were not having. In the end, right now we are having it, but it was a long road, to be able to accomplish the mechanical properties and everything that we claimed. Yeah. Exactly.
If not, the patent gets removed, I guess.
No, not really. Not really. You just cannot use it.
Well, of course. Let's use it.
I mean, if you say that you have a product that you don't have
it.
Yeah, but there's no way of changing anything about the patent.
When you write, you can only delete things. Basically,
you can delete and generate a new one.
No. You can and then there's the problem with the priority date. The key aspect is what's called the priority date. So our priority date is set in March 2018. Anything that has been developed after March 2018, it's against our patent, so we can claim that, hey guys, you cannot do this because we patented it. Okay, so that's why if you create something new, then your priority date moves to 2020, to whatever. So if someone develops someone between 2018 and 2021, actually based on what you said, then or similar, then you cannot claim that, and probably they will claim it.
Okay.
So it's important. So that's why the timing is extremely critical. But so you need to hold it secret until you have to patent it, but also you have to patent if you know that others are developing similar things. You need to patent it because the priority date is critical. Of course. It's a huge dilemma when starting. It's a huge dilemma when you're starting a project that you think can turn into a company.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe one recommendation after dealing with the patent for
5 years,
for a long time ago. So I would recommend that the space that you have to create the background and additional information, to really use it and to have a lot of information there, because the information that you have there, then you can move it to the claims. So the process of patenting, it's quite easy. You have to design a document, with this background, examples, then the claims, everything. So what is important is the claims, but everything that you have before that, you can use it and move it to the claims afterwards. So in the process so you start with the application, then we move to the PCT, and then you start with national phases. So you go to each countries where you want a patent, and then you start their local attorneys, they analyze your patent and they compare it to the things that are actually in the market. So they come okay, you have this other patent, this paper, so why are you different from these guys, no? So basically you have some time to argue and to make adjustments to say, okay, I'm different because this, and that. And on that time, it's important that you can use the information that you have written before and move it to the claims. So adapt them a little bit. And that is critical to reinforce your patent.
Yeah, that's being smart. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But what Noemí is saying is that people typically don't put too much effort into the background. It's important to put information in there because then you can use it.
It's like your backup.
It's almost your backup. Yeah.
Supplementary material.
We'll mark that.
Exactly.
It's your appendix.
Exactly, basically.
Yeah.
And which things have you patented already?
So the patch was the first family of patents that we applied for first time in 2018, March 2018, and today it's accepted in Japan, in Australia, it's in Canada, in the European Patent Office. So actually a number of countries in Europe, and
partially in the States. Also.
And in the States we have a number of claims accepted too. So we will have it accepted, and in China not yet. But we're working hard also in China.
Big problem, China.
We don't know if we cannot generalize, but we are definitely not being lucky in China
of
today.
Course. And the deployer, you also had a.
So we have patented the deployer and then the catheter that we patented last year. And the deployer just entered national phases, but you can enter national phases by using the fast track. And at the beginning, it seems a really good idea for us, but in the end, it was kind of crazy because then all the local attorneys start answering you, and you have specific time to answer their questions and their request, and you cannot if you want to extend the deadlines, you have to pay a lot of money. So in the end, it's kind of.
I see.
It's expensive and stressful. When Noemí says local attorneys, it's the local patent offices.
Exactly.
So local patent offices
in each delegation.
Country.
Exactly.
So and it's stressful because we only have 6 months to answer to this, and there's a lot of things, or 1 month or whatever,
or even less. And sometimes you need to do some experiments.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that you say, okay, I demonstrate this because I say it. No, it's that, okay, you need to generate the data, and sometimes it's not that you can generate it in 1 month, or maybe you're trying to generate it in 1 month, but it's not possible.
Completely understand.
And now moving to a bit of the funding thing and money, how did you start?
Interesting part.
Yeah, how did you start with the funding for Aortyx? And then I have another question, but that's the first thing I was interested
It
in.
started in 2016 as a IQS. No, we got the first 2 grants actually with clinic too. So it was small grants, 20,000 euros and here and there. Back then there were a lot of money, like wow, to have 20,000 euros. So we did some like a small viability plan, had money to also evaluate if we could patent our ideas or not. Then we it was money to hire, then we had some money to hire Noemí, from the project, and she could join the project as a PhD. No, she joined for a master's thesis at the beginning. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
She started.
He was my master thesis director together with one of the other co-founders. So that's how everything started.
Yeah.
Be wise picking your master thesis.
Exactly.
But again, this as everything in life. There's a part of luck. There's a part of looking for it. There's a part of this combination of things. No, you can be wise, but you cannot really control what's going to happen. But we got the first money. Then we got like some more grants again, still from IQS, like 100,000 with Producta and 70,000 from Cashin Pool. So that we got some money. But there's a limit where, as an academic, you cannot get much more money in the academia. So that's why it was, okay, we need to build a company. And as I always say, I like a lot explaining what I do. And since I went to the States to MIT, all of my friends were saying like, wait, when are you going to make money? No, with what you do. So I told them, when I founded the company, I told them, now. So that's when we did the first Friends, Family and Fools round, it's called. We raised 650,000. That was investment. And then we also got grants as a company. So together, we've gotten almost now 10 million. Almost 10 million in this with 2 rounds. But now we're trying to close a 12 million round, because it's exponential.
That was the follow-up question. That's you are now in this Series A, or
Yes, building it.
Yeah, and we have seen that you are just in the middle, more or less, of that.
Depending, you never know where you actually are until it's closed.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, we have a lot of money compromised, but it's not closed. So in the end, you cannot say that you are in the middle or in. I mean, you have the round closed or not.
Exactly.
So it's
very binary.
Exactly.
Okay, so until you don't have your money in your bank account.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's literally like this, and you need to be aware of that because things change. And there's a lot of also like how do you call it? Like fear of missing out dynamics. No, so suddenly there's someone who's interested in you, and everyone is interested in you. Like, come on, you were not interested in me a month ago. So and then suddenly someone falls, and no, they're not interested. So it's really a roller coaster of emotions. So I mean, we're confident it's gonna close, but until it's not closed, we're not gonna say it's closed.
And you start with family and friends money, which I think is. I don't know. I don't think how you do that. I don't know how you do that. That looks so dangerous. That's personal.
He told me he's like super scared of doing that because I have in my mind building company and all that. And we were talking the other day, and he was like, "No, have money from friends, money from family. No way. You never do that. It's
but
the
why
worst
not?
thing."
I mean, if they get money from investing on you.
I was
for sure.
like that.
If they have a bag of money that they can.
I mean,
either burn or use with you.
I would recommend
of course,
my friends, if they only have 1,000 euros, don't invest it in me. If it's the only money that you have.
Of course.
Of course.
You have to be aware that everyone can do whatever they want with their money.
But at the end, maybe if it fails, you feel responsible for it.
But that's that's message 1.
Yeah.
You're responsible. You are. But you're also completely transparent. And as I always say to everyone who has invested, who knows us, like the moment you give the money, you've lost it. Period.
No, that's.
But for example, do you do like the same? Do you give the same information to friends that big investors? Like,
yes.
do you do a group?
Yeah.
meeting
we are
or something.
transparent.
Yeah.
We tell people the truth. For me, that's very important. I mean, I will not ask my friends money like by telling them a lie
Exactly.
and promising them something that I don't have.
Not a lie, but maybe they don't fully understand what you're doing. If you're maybe asking to your mom money for the
But
company. So
you do your best
that's why
to
I was
explain
asking.
it, and it's your duty. So not to sleep well, to be calm, to do all these things. You need to know that you're doing everything you can to be transparent, to be clear, and that everyone makes an educated decision. Like they are confident with that decision. They know there are chances of success and chances of failure, and they need to live with that. And also, as Noemí was saying, it cannot be your only savings. And I have stopped people from investing in our company, saying, no. Right now, I know your situation. This is your only savings. You cannot invest it in us. Period. Impossible. I'm not going to accept your money.
And also, as any other investment, there's a risk. I mean,
Of course.
nowadays, like almost everyone is investing in I don't know, like in many things, and I think that it's their choice to invest in your idea, and in the end, it's a good thing, no? And if they decide to invest this money on you, it's great, and you have to be.
Yeah, and as long as you're transparent and you explain things, you should be extremely calm.
No, I think honesty must be at the forefront,
For
of
sure,
course.
for sure.
But what we were talking about is what happens where there is a inheritance in a family, right? And there's money, like brothers start fighting each other, and they maybe don't want to talk to each other anymore. Like that's for me the scary thing about the money in family and friends. But okay, nevertheless,
Okay.
But it's but understand where the money comes from.
Of course.
If it comes from an inheritance and it's like a building, I want 10,000, I want 12,000, and this is kind of fights. Like if you give me that money, it's money that and it's different, especially in us, that it's not a business that generates recurrent income. So I'm not gonna pay. I'm not gonna pay you back. Let's say yearly. No, it's super binary.
Mm-hmm.
It's go no go. It will work or not.
This is not a dividends thing.
Exactly.
Or I pay you a lot of money, or I don't pay you anything.
And the other
Or
big
little money.
Or
It
little
can
money.
happen.
and it happened.
Yeah.
But the other big argument is like if you make 10x, I'm making 1,000x. I am the most interested person on earth for this to work.
That's what I was telling him, that you are the person that wants this project to go well, and you are the most excited one. Your friends and family and everyone that is believing in you, why not putting money? I would do for my friends. If I believe in the project, and if I understand it, and if I know that they will work their asses off.
And also, and maybe, so you invest to gain money for sure, but when you're investing in a friend or in a family member, I think that it's more about that you are giving your trust on them.
Sure.
No, it's not that to be rich, to
No,
become
no.
rich. It's more about like trusting on them and their project and trying to help them. I mean,
Completely. I mean, this is a big discussion, big internal discussion in my head.
it's the same as for us. We have not started this project to be rich. We started the project to create a solution. If in the meantime we gain some money, of course it's important for us. I mean, we get paid every month. We are not working for joy.
No, of course.
But still, it's not the driving of this project, because we are creating a solution that is going to have an impact on society.
Oh, that's great.
That's important.
That's great. So where do you look now for the money? Like venture capital, big fundings, big...
So we've exhausted all grants. Like there's no more right now. There's one more in Europe that we were not lucky at, but in any case, we look venture capital. Also,
can you give to the audience maybe a quick recap about what is venture capital?
Venture capital is people who invest in you, but they have much more money. No. So it's just a venture capital is a company invested by a number of people. So say, all right, they say, and we need 100 million to invest in 10 projects. So they raised 100 million from big family offices, from insurance companies, from banks, whatever. They raise
And they create a
100
portfolio.
million, and they invest in 10 companies, and they actually analyze typically 1,000 companies and they narrow down to choosing 10, and they invest in 10.
So basically, it's a specialized company in investing.
Yeah.
And maybe in biotechnology, especially in your cases.
They normally are specialized in sectors.
In sectors,
So you
okay,
have
yeah.
specialized in AI, then in science.
There's a lot of venture capital, and they're very specialized. So it says, go to these guys. They will give you money. No, because they're extremely specialized, and because they know where they're investing in. No? So again, we're looking for money from venture capital, but also from corporate. No, so from large companies who may be interested in joining early this company.
Okay, so moving on into the market business and everything, we wanted to ask you, what are the steps to take your product to the market, and when do you plan to do so?
How many steps? No, so you want to go with that? Or?
I mean,
No, like the main steps, like what do you need to do to
The ABC.
to reach the market with your
we
product?
have not reached the market first yet, so that's the first
Yeah, that's
thing.
why I asked, when do you plan
so
to do it?
the thing is, the first thing is to analyze the market, no? To analyze your competitors, to analyze how many procedures, in our case, so how many procedures in aortic dissection are done each year, and which devices they are using, then which is the price of the devices that they are using, then which is the price of the surgeries that are related not to implement those devices. So you have the first market study, no? So you have an idea of how many surgeries are done each year, which are the costs of the devices and the surgery, and all these kind of things. Then you have to work on your solution, prove that you are better, and then start going to the hospitals and see how are you going to get this reimbursement. No, and how are they going to pay you? Which is the price of your product? What are you aiming? Because it's not the same selling your device in the States or selling it in Spain or in Germany or in Australia or in Japan. Prices change, and this is
And the regulatory.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, you have to work in the regulatory strategy. So you have to, in order to sell your product in Spain, you have to pass the European regulation. No, you have to
Clear by the MDR.
Exactly. So, and you have to get the CE mark, no, to be able to reach the market. If you don't have the CE mark, you are not allowed to sell your product. In the States, the same, but with the FDA. In China, the same, but with the CFDA. And
Yeah. So to make it like larger, market study, design freeze, manufacturing transfer. No, you need to decide how you manufacture your whatever you're doing. Regulatory approval. No, regulatory preclinical and clinical approval, and after approval, which people think that it's over there. No, then you need to go market by market and do the whole market access. And who pays you, how you're reimbursed, and what
and
price.
I think it's a part that most of the people like just forgive the sale part. Like, do you go to the hospital and show to the doctor like this is how you use it? Do you want to use it? Because at the end, they are who decide if they want to implement this product into their
we're
surgeries.
doing it now.
Oh,
So
now.
if we have for you to have an idea, we're doing it now, before clinical trials. Why? Because you first need to convince them
Yeah, that they want
to
it.
go for clinical trials, because it's their hands, and they're putting their patients at risk with a new device. So they need to be convinced. So this we're doing it now. Then you're convincing these guys. Okay, you're in clinical trials. Now you need to convince the hospitals that they will buy you this, no? And then you need to convince the national payers, no, or the insurances to pay you. So it's So the whole
Yeah,
market
because-
access
Yeah.
is a process.
If surgeons or physicians are they like your product and they want to buy it, but if the hospital they don't accept the price that you pay that you put for it, then
Yeah.
you got
You got nothing.
You got nothing. I mean, if the surgeons want to use it but the price isn't affordable, you are never gonna have it in the market. I mean, have it in the market, yes, but they are not going to use it because they are not going to have it in their hospitals.
That's a question I think that we have in mind now that we're doing a medical device subject is what is an affordable price for a medical device? Because
So
we're
At least in-
trying
at
to
least in
put
this
it.
area.
So that's the reason
Yeah,
why you
in
need
this
to do the market study at the beginning. So you have to understand which are the prices of current devices and which is the cost for the
The whole surgery.
exactly. I mean, the surgery and after surgery. If you imagine for an open surgery, the cost of the surgery is very high because it takes long time. You need to use a lot of devices. Many people is involved because there are a lot of things that can go wrong. Then after the surgery, the patient must undergo in the ICU. So this also costs a lot of money for the healthcare system. And if you stay in the ICU for 1 week, then this is more money.
Yeah.
And you have to compare, like you have, okay, if you are going to use my device instead of this one, you are going to save this amount of money. So then my device is going to cost more than this device because you are in the global thing, you're going to save, I don't know, X money. Okay, so that's the reason why we have this price, whatever. So you have these comparables, and this is how you put the prices. And
Totally understand.
So you end up and this is a change from classical business school. No, classical business school. This cost me X, so I'm gonna sell it for 1.5x. No, I want to capture 50%. That's not how it works. Is the whole procedure, the whole patient journey, costs X. With my device, I will reduce this price by, I don't know, 50%, 30%. So I'm going to capture a part of these savings with my price. Whatever you are able to negotiate must obviously be higher than your costs of manufacturing, etc. No, that may sound obvious, but sometimes it doesn't match.
It doesn't
Yeah.
match.
It doesn't match, and that's an important part of the business plan. So that's why you always have to keep this in mind. And then when you have a premium product, you have to figure out if they actually are willing to pay for a premium product. No, so like whatever you win with this premium product deserves a higher price, and if not, they won't pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
that's
a
right.
willingness to pay willingness to pay and savings capture are the two main concepts that drive the cost. The price of a device.
The big trend in medicine right now is not only making therapies better, but to reducing cost and the value trend and all this type of stuff. I think we have made a very clear pathway. We could talk about this for hours. I mean, there's
Yeah.
many things that have popped in my head. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, we cannot talk about this.
Yeah, for sure.
But we wanted to go a bit more into the entrepreneurial experience from the individual point of view. So, how, maybe from the CEO and the CTO point of view, what does your day-to-day involve? And most importantly, you are 4 co-founders, if I'm not mistaken. How do you deal with different opinions, and maybe in your specific area of knowledge, how do you deal with this, and what does your day-to-day job involve?
You go first, and then I go second.
Coming to a podcast is one of them.
You literally.
So we are 4 founders, but like basically Jordi and I are the ones who are running the business because like the other 2 are more seniors and they are dedicated more to their jobs, no? So we have the chief of vascular surgery in the hospital clinic, which is a surgeon. So he has lots of things to do. He helps us a lot in terms of the tests that we have to do, but he's not dedicated to the company in the full-time job. And also the other one is right now the director of the university. So he's also has his own group and he's dedicated to other things also. So basically, what we do, I would say what we don't do. No? So basically, as an entrepreneur, you have to learn many things, and as a scientist background, I'm a scientist. I didn't have any experience on founding a company. My father had a company, but it's not the same when you have this experience in your hands. So basically, I don't know. I mean,
no, but you can say like daily things. How
Daily
many meetings
things.
you have? How many
Yes.
meetings you have with whom?
So I guess with
last
CTO, what
week-
I would think about
yeah.
is like designing stuff.
Exactly. I mean, I'm involved in everything related to every part of the devices. So basically, I am dealing with the problems that we have in the lab with the adhesive, with everything, each component. Then I am dealing also with the suppliers. So we have suppliers that manufacture each part. So sometimes it's like, okay, we have to push this supplier, or why are this delaying the manufacturing of this piece, whatever, all these problems. Then I also design the tests in terms of clinical, the animal studies, the cadaver studies that we do, all these kind of things. I am involved in these kind of designs. I am also working when preparing the trainings for the surgeons.
So in your case, it's it's more like a management position.
I do a lot of managing.
Being like here and there when it's needed, and not like focused in designing that specific
Exactly.
thing. Okay.
It has evolved, no?
At the
maybe
beginning,
she was the
I
one-
was the
yeah.
one who designed the patch, and now I am dealing with the people that is carrying or like the design of the patch and all these kind of
Answering a lot
things.
of emails, right?
Answering a lot of emails, which for me
Answering
it's
many
the worst.
questions every day.
No, and have a lot of meetings because there are a lot of little things that may need to change and be adapted, and it's a matter of also I deal with the patents because I am very used to with the patch. I did all the process, so I have a lot of experience
and
on
I
that.
hate that. I know.
And then also I deal with a lot of quality things in the company because I like everything to be standardized. So I want that everything follows some kind of rules. So I also like manage all the quality things and many other things that I am not like the first person, but I am involved.
Yeah.
I go to podcasts. No, as a scientific CEO, your position evolves. No, at the very beginning, we're five. I was extremely involved in scientific decisions. No, ways to move forward. I still try to give some of when there's science more than I differentiate here science from technique. No, I'm never involved in like the catheter should be 45 degrees and 60. Like that's a technical decision. But if there's a scientific analysis of the data, I try to support that. But there's a lot of things that, especially making sure to attend investors meetings, a lot of dissemination going out. I handle a lot of correlation with other physicians around the world, so trying to contact them, explain them what we do. So let's say a lot of what's called medical affairs. A lot of administrative stuff, which is for me the most boring part, no, and it must be done, no. There's paying bills, making sure everyone can get their salaries, legal things, and so that's most of what I do daily. Mm-hmm. And as you were saying, I receive on average 100 to 150 emails. Per day.
Wow.
And I never leave anything unanswered. And like my inbox is only things that are pending. But typically 90 to 95% are addressed daily. No, sometimes I don't have to do anything; just need to store it.
Yes.
Just need to read and know where things are going. But I am very strict with myself to like cleaning. No, my inbox.
Crazy.
I am not the same in this sense. I receive same amount of emails most of the days, but normally I don't get to have them all in their folders at the end of the day.
I'm a bit more like you, but I like your view. We could be talking about this for 8 hours. I would ask many questions because I'm super interested, but to wrap it a bit up because we are running out of time. One last question would be, what advice would you give to people that are finishing the degree just like us and want to become entrepreneurs? What would you say to them?
An advice to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, first, don't be an entrepreneur. No,
but
no.
I have decided that I want to.
He's joking.
No, of course.
So no. When you move forward, you need to be sure that you have to move forward at this time. You are very young, no? I mean, we all are, but at 22, 23, you are very young and you need to realize a lot of things. And it's better to get experience anywhere, no? From mistakes others make, learnings, no? Try to make a lot of learnings before you jump into something. And when you jump into something, you need to jump with everything. 19% of companies fail at 5 years, and typically it's not because they have a bad technology or no, it's because they were not clear about what they were solving, what was their purpose, and the purpose and is important. And for me, I wanted to be an entrepreneur again at 23, 24, but I didn't found the company until I was 33, and I started learning from everything I was doing. Until I said, all right, now is the time. Okay? Don't be in a rush to be an entrepreneur. Be when you have to be.
Okay.
Okay? So it's a mentality, but the action may take whenever.
Okay. So it's a bit more like you have this desire in your head, but you let it go and let it go, but let it flow and find the timing and not finding the thing to become an entrepreneur, but not looking for it like your obsession.
Being prepared for it.
Okay.
I see it more like be patient. Like prepare for yourself for it and be patient because when the time comes, you have to go with everything.
Yes, and maybe what I would say is that if you feel like you have a good idea and you make an analysis and you really trust on your idea and you feel like you want to do it, why not? I mean, if you fail, what happens? And do you think that at the beginning when we start Aortyx, we were like, okay, we are going to become 16 people and 5 years, whatever? No. We started and that's it, no? At the beginning it was like, okay, we trust on this and we just continue developing it and that's it. I mean, it's not that, okay, one day you are an entrepreneur, the day before you are nothing. No,
okay.
I mean, it's a process. Everything is a process. And we have evolved from when we started until today a lot in terms of personal experience, in the company field, everything. So it's not that, okay, so it's not the idea that I want to be an entrepreneur. No, it's like, okay, I have this idea, I wanted to get it to the market. There are different kind of ideas, no? And I have done a study, and I trust in this, and maybe you fail, and in 10 years you found another company, and that's it. I mean...
Sure.
Yeah, be patient and trust the process, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here with us. This was a great experience for us.
Yeah.
Great conversation. Also, congratulate you for your last honor you got. Top 10 entrepreneurs.
Yeah, top 4 yesterday.
Top four
I
actually.
received it. Yeah, yesterday.
That's amazing.
That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Super cool.
Really cool. Again, thank you for having us. Thanks to all the listeners and people watching at home. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram and LinkedIn accounts where you can have much more content there. And thank you, Marc and Adriana, for being here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. A pleasure.
See you in the
Thank
next
you.
episode.